Buongiorno a tutti. A warm welcome to all the distinguished guests participating in this Italy and Croatia Business Forum on Infrastructure, Construction and Energy. I am Sandra Di Carlo, the Italian Trade Commissioner to Croatia. Today I will be your moderator, and I am really delighted to open this digital forum organized by the Italian Trade Agency together with the Italian Embassy in Croatia and 3 Italian industrial associations, ANCE, ANE and OICE, with representatives I will introduce you later. A special thanks for being with us goes to the State Secretary of the Croatian Ministry of the Sea, Transport and Infrastructure, Alen Gospodic, and to the Assistant Minister of Physical Planning, Construction and State Assets, Sania Shabana, as well as to all other speakers who will allow us to know more about ongoing strategic plans and planned infrastructural projects in this beautiful country. This will also be an opportunity for Croatian institutions and for Croatian companies to get more information about Italian industrial associations and Italian companies, with the aim of facilitating future cooperation and establishing business relations. A special thanks, of course, goes to the Italian ambassador to the Republic of Croatia, His Excellency Pier Francesco Sacco, who represents, leads and coordinates with energy and passion, I would say, all Italian institutions here, as we call it the Sistema Italia, Italian system. This forum was initially conceived to be held in person, but unfortunately the pandemic has forced us to organize it in a digital format. This event, however, should be considered just as a preview of the real mission, because we still hope to be able to organize it in the future with B2B meetings when the pandemic crisis will end. Now, before passing the word to the Ambassador Sacco, just a few remarks on why we are here today talking about Croatia and what are the strengths of this country. Why operate in Croatia? Certainly for the geographic and cultural proximity, but also for the strong affinity with the Italian business environment and for the long-lasting relationships in every sector. Croatia international trade is mainly directed towards the neighboring states, and Italy is Croatia's second trading partner after Germany, with a market share of 14% before pandemic. Now it's around 13%. Croatia has a considerable appreciation of Italian engineering, technical design and innovative know-how in all sectors. And this is why Italy is among the top 5 investors in this country. Croatia has political and economic stability, has access to EU funds, and will introduce the euro in 2023. Last year, real GDP recorded a growth of 2.9%, and next year the government expects a growth of 5%. For the cohesion policy 2021-2027, Croatia will receive 9 billion euros. That is about 17% of its GDP, the highest percentage at the level of the entire EU. Croatia has a national development strategy until 2030 and massive infrastructure investment programs, including 4.5 billion euros in the modernization of railway lines and an expected additional 6 billion euros to be invested in construction and renovation of transport infrastructures. Croatia has just adopted an energy development strategy up to 2030 with forecast up to 2050, with investments of 2 billion euros per year over the next 10 years. Last but not least, Croatia has highly educated, qualified, multilingual and competent workforce. 99.7% of high school students here know English. 97% of young people have at least an upper secondary education. There are 128 institutions of higher education here, including 10 universities. Then, for all these reasons, but not only, we believe that Croatia is an interesting market, full of opportunities for the Italian companies. And from the Croatian side, we think it would be of great interest to further intensify commercial relations with Italy in this path of continuous development. And now, without further ado, I have the pleasure to give the floor to His Excellency, the Ambassador of Italy to the Republic of Croatia, Pier Francesco Sacco. Please, Ambassador, the floor is yours.
Dobar dan, buongiorno a tutti. The excellent technological advances made by our Foreign Affairs Ministry and the Istituto Commercio Estero be this morning really very, very efficient. Congratulations. Dear Mr. State Secretary Gospočić and Assistant Minister Caban, dear members of the business delegation in Italy, dear organizers, Sandra, it's really a pleasure for me to greet you all in this circumstance. Forum is a special circumstance for two reasons. On one hand, to stress this is the first time after a long period that our trade should organize a structured project in Croatia. Though this is an hybrid format, this is a web forum, but an activity which is organized here in Croatia after a long period of time when, in terms of trade fairs, business delegations, and so on and so forth, each has mainly worked with people in Italy to stress. And on the other, I would like to highlight that this web forum comes third in a series of high-level bilateral activities which have taken place over the last couple of weeks. First and foremost, the Committee of Italian and Croatian Ministers, which, as many of you certainly know, took place in Zagreb last 30th of November. The Ministers of Transport and Infrastructure, alongside the ministries in charge of economic development, of course, also participated in the Committee of Ministers. The next session will be next year, so once per year now, with more regular periodicity, back to back with a business forum, which has been agreed upon by the Croatian and the Italian government, a, let's say, wider concept of business forum. On that occasion, a joint declaration was signed, and Italy, which is available, of course, on our website also. The joint declaration signed on that occasion well showed Italian and Croatian commitment to enhancing mutual cooperation also in the transport and infrastructure sector in order to assure the development of an efficient network between our two countries, as well as at the regional level. We all know that Croatia and Italy are excellent partners, neighboring countries, but with not an up to this level degree of communication, transport, unfortunately, up to now. Last Friday, a conference on bilateral relations and bilateral opportunities in the areas of finance and EU funds, energy and tourism was organized by our embassy and the Croatian National Bank here in Zagreb with high-level participation. Today, we look forward to deepening the knowledge among the companies on the opportunities for further cooperation arising from the infrastructural plans of the Croatian institutions. The director of each has already given you some hints on that, and certainly this will be developed further by our panelists. So I'm very thankful to all of you for having accepted accepted our invitation to give a broad picture to our business virtual delegation here in Zagreb. Today it's virtual, but soon in 2021, as Director Di Carlo has already mentioned, hopefully this is going to be an in-person business initiative in Croatia, also with B2B meetings. Croatia is, and even more will be, an infrastructural hub to boost the European connectivity. North, south, east, west corridors cross themselves here. But a lot of improvements are needed. Comes to multimodality, railway sector, transport. 20 billion kuna are currently being implemented in a number of infrastructure projects. 45 billion kuna are to be invested during the operational period 2021-2027 in the construction, renovation, modernization, and improvement of roads, railways, ports, and airports. Very few countries in Europe have such a strategic location as Croatia is, also in a regional perspective. None is so close to Italy. No other European country shares with Italy similarly strategic and economic and commercial interests in such a wide portion of the Mediterranean called Adriatic Sea. And our two governments are now even more proactively taking care of those interests in the Adriatic Sea, in full respect, of course, of the international law, of the European law and fishery policy, and also for the sake of environmental protection and sustainability. Of course, I'm talking about exclusive economic zones. And the issue will be discussed in a few days in Italy by the Italian, Croatian, and also Slovenian foreign ministers. So another event will soon take place of high economic importance for the Italian, the Croatian business sectors. This will be the fourth event in less than 3 weeks. Now, things are evolving fast, as you can see by yourself between Italy and Croatia. So I'm confident, really confident that your conversations this morning will highlight the importance of working together to relaunch our economies after the awful pandemic-induced crisis, also through better infrastructures. Infrastructures are key to competitiveness, and both Italy and Croatia must scale up in the ranking of competitiveness, as we all know. Italy and Croatia know very well how usefully cooperate, like they already do in the myriad business relations activated by our vast Italian business community already successfully operating in Croatia. And of course, also the infrastructure sector in Croatia has attracted over the years some of the most important Italian suppliers who brought their expertise and know-how. So nothing is new. At the same time, let me say, everything must be seen with a new mindset bilaterally between Italy and Croatia. So thank you all. Special thanks to each, all my congratulations. Back to you, Sandra.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for your interesting remarks. Now I would like to introduce Mr. Antonio Lucarelli. He is the Director of the Industrial Technology and Energy Office of the Italian Trade Agency's headquarters in Rome. Please, Antonio, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Sandra. Good morning, Mr. Ambassador. Buongiorno al vicepresidente Gaetano Vecchio di ANCE, al vicepresidente della OICE, Ingegner Carpaneto, alla dottoressa Fragasso di ANIE. Good morning to all institutions, Croatian institutions and companies. I will say a few words in Italian to address the Italian companies and Italian consultants participating in this event, to present them what each does in their field. Allora, questa missione era stata programmata insieme ad altre missioni che dovevano tenersi in presenza lo scorso marzo e aprile, e dopo le tristi vicende, diciamo, della pandemia hanno costretto ad un rinvio, e attraverso le diciamo, strutture tecnologiche che abbiamo a disposizione, alle quali ha fatto anche riferimento l'ambasciatore, abbiamo potuto trasformarlo in un web forum. Abbiamo visto infatti che c'era molta richiesta da parte delle aziende in questa fase nella quale le attività in presenza non possono essere realizzate, per diciamo, conoscere le opportunità che ci sono nei settori della consulenza, delle costruzioni, delle infrastrutture, in quelli che sono i paesi a maggior potenziale, a maggior interesse, come in questo caso è la Croazia. Noi abbiamo infatti voluto organizzare questi web forum per tenere alta l'attenzione e per cercare di, in questo periodo, di sviluppare una maggiore conoscenza, uno scambio di know-how, e magari favorire occasioni di partnership con potenziali partner croati. Quindi questo forum oggi si focalizza in particolare sulle infrastrutture, le costruzioni e l'energia, e si inserisce in un quadro di attività che l'Ufficio Tecnologia Industriale in quest'anno diciamo, di pandemia ha organizzato nel settore delle infrastrutture, della consulenza, e in particolare finora abbiamo realizzato un interessante webinar sul Qatar, una web mission Albania. Abbiamo partecipato alla fiera Transmea del Cairo, abbiamo quindi realizzato un webinar sulla Francia. Diciamo che in futuro quello che io posso preannunciarvi, che i paesi nei quali noi vorremmo tenere alta l'attenzione sono il Montenegro, l'Azerbaigian, Marocco, Francia, Lettonia, e poi vorremmo partecipare, abbiamo in programma la partecipazione all'Air Show di Dubai, e quindi concludere con l'incoming alla Fiera Expo Ferroviaria di Milano del prossimo ottobre, e last but not least vogliamo organizzare in presenza il prossimo, appena possibile, appunto una missione in Croazia. Quindi dopo che sia, diciamo, la logica follow up e conclusione a questo evento di oggi. Grazie, e quindi io restituisco la parola alla dottoressa Di Carlo.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you very much, Antonio, for your words. And thanks to all the colleagues who work with you in your office in Rome. I'm referring in particular to Elisa and Julia. They were so precious in helping us to organize this event. Now, before introducing the representatives of the Italian industrial associations, I would like to go over just a few technical details. I kindly ask all speakers to mute their mics when they are not speaking, and to contain their presentations within the established times, as we have a full program and a very tight schedule. For those following in live stream who have questions for the speakers, I invite you to ask them through the chat, but please add your full name and email address, because if it's not possible to provide an answer today, we will do it in the following days. Now I would like to give the floor to Mr. Gaetano Vecchio, who is the Vice President of the Foreign Committee and President of the SMEs Group of ANCE. ANCE is the Italian National Association of Building Constructors. Please, Mr. Vecchio, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and good morning to everybody. I'm very happy to be here, and I prefer to be on the mission in present. We already have done some mission around all the Balkanic area, and Croatia is a place where we already came and we want to go in the future. Our association is the most important association in the sector in Italy. We have all than 2,000 companies, from the biggest general contractor until the small company. In the last 10 years, more on our association try to go abroad. And the Balkanic area was, is, and will be a area where we look for and we point. Our mission is to give help to our company to internationalize our business. And our approach, like association, but like Italian style of the company, is to find a partnership with the local company and with the local government. In this moment, we have more than 800 projects around the world in more or less 90 countries, and for a total 90 million of billion of euro of project. The Balkanic area is an important area for us. We have a mission in Albania, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, in Croatia, in Montenegro. And the Croatia in particular, for the future, is a place where we want to strong be present, because there are a lot of projects that we are interested. Our approach is, like I say, approach we look for and we find partnership with the local company. In this moment, we are like association, we are strongly disappointed because in the recent times, Chinese state owners company have won different projects around the world and around Europe. In particular, they won some important projects in Croatia. Our disappointment comes from the fact that they do dumping on the price, and for our experience, they don't leave nothing on the territory where it goes. Our approach is completely different. We try to transfer technology, we try to transfer information, and we try to grow with the local partnership. In particular, in Croatia, we are similar in culture. For this reason, we are strongly have a pressure on the European community to try to have a wall against Chinese companies that use our European funds with dumping on the price. And there is no reciprocity where we go in China. For this reason, we ask all the part, in particular the government point, that in this moment we have there are some representatives to help us, to help the Croatian company to go against this dumping, because in the future this dumping will have will give a big problem for all European community. We help our company to find partnership with the local company. I like say in the last mission, we have more than 200 Italian companies and engineering companies to present and to find a project. For this reason, I hope to have the chance to have a personal mission, because only with the relationship day by day we can do business together. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you in person recently. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Vecchio. Now I would share the floor with Mr. Roberto Carpaneto, who is the Vice President for International Affairs of OICE. OICE is the Italian Association of Architecture Engineers and Technical Economic Advisors Organization. He is also a member of the Board of Directors of the EFCA, the European Federation of Engineering Consultancy Associations. Please, Mr. Carpaneto, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Good morning to everybody. Let me first thank His Excellency Francesco Sacco, our ambassadors, and the director of agency ICE, Dr. Sandra Di Carlo. I also thank to Dr. Antonio Lucarelli and my friend Elisa Salazar for the organization and all the other people. I'd also like to say good morning to all our important hosts from Croatia. I'd like to share a very short presentation in very few minutes. Just let me share it. I think you should see it. And I just want to spend 2 words about what is OIC and where we are with respect to Croatia. And OIC is, as you said, is the Italian organization of engineering, consultancy and architectures company, member of FIDIC, the international organization, and EFCA, the European one. We have about 400 company associated, engineering and architecture company associated in, and we represent about 25 engineers, architects, and geologists within these companies. It's very important to highlight that about 60% of all the revenues of this company is abroad, in about 150 countries around the world. We represent, of course, the interest of the engineering in Italy and the worldwide, and we try to promote the engineering culture. It's very important, and in Croatia will be very important. And we, of course, promote the internalization of our company and the participation to important international projects all around the world. We organize for this many times. We participate, as today, to specific business forum, or to, we call them in this period the web mission also. And we actually develop, and together with ICE also, we organize a lot of this kind of opportunity for our company to exchange information, to highlight opportunities. And we provide our associates and our company assistance to work together with the foreigner companies, but also with international institutions, IFIs or credit agency, etc. As you can see, World Bank.
I'm sorry, Mr. Capaneto, if I interrupt. We don't see your presentation. If you want to share with us.
Let me.
At the bottom, you see the screen share.
I push it. Okay. You never see it, or you see something of it. Did you see something?
Okay, now it's working.
Okay.
Can you put in full screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So I just was at this slide, and that we support. I was saying that we support our associates to work together with international finance institution as well as credit agency, international credit agency all over the world. And of course, we promote, as actually this was mentioned before, we try to promote as much as possible networking and partnership with local companies and international players, because in our activities, engineering, architectures, and consultancy, is always important to have, let's say, local culture content, and there is always something to exchange from a technical point of view with local companies. So we always encourage our, and the different area where our associates are represented in this slide. As you can see, and from these and from the next few slides, that in energy and infrastructures, buildings and infrastructure, civil engineering in general, and energy are very important. In fact, if you can see this pie, you see that most of our activities around the world are in the transport and infrastructure sector, as well and in the energy sectors. These are the 2 items that we are discussing this morning, and you can see that the production value in terms of area where most of our activity, or at least a large portion of our activities is in Europe, EU country and other European countries. So this is about 13% and 11%. So 1/4 of our activities is in these countries. And of course, we have priorities. And you can see again that EU country and non-EU country, we call them other European countries, are very important for us. And they represent 28 and 16%. Croatia, for sure, is one of the countries where we work already, but we like to work more. There are, as you have mentioned before, but I'm sure that our guest will present later on this morning, there are very important programs for infrastructures. There are very important programs for transportation and in the energy sectors. In the past, but also in these days, many of our companies are working with important, for example, INA company in Croatia, but there are a lot of programs in the renewable sectors, in general, in the energy transition market, and it is very important. In fact, as you can see, there are at least 15 Italian companies, engineering and consulting company, within a company in OICE, which has already a registration in Croatia. They're working in transport infrastructure, they're working in environmental engineering, renewable energy, and in general in transportation and infrastructure and ICT. So very high technology, very numerous opportunity for exchange and develop a business together. We can work together for sure, and how? This is maybe for our company and for Croatian companies. We can work through our two, let's say, homologous organization, the HSGI and OICE, through the cooperation and through our office. And we can promote encourage the exchange of know-how. For sure, we can work together and participate together in international tenders program, finance many of them are financed from IFI. I know that this morning we will have presentation about this. So thank you again for this opportunity, and for us, we will have a very important attention to understand where our company can work together with Croatian company and important Croatian institution. I apologize because later on this morning, I have to leave this because I will participate in another web seminar, but for sure, my colleagues, Dr. Ragusa, will describe to me the conclusion of this important webinar. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Carpaneto. Thank you. Now, last but not least, I now introduce Maria Rosaria Fragasso, Head of International Affairs of ANIE, that is the Italian National Federation of the Electrotechnical and Electronic Sector. Please, Mrs. Fragasso, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Distinguished guests, colleagues, it's a great pleasure for me to be here today on behalf of
I'm sorry. No. We can't hear you well. Can you please try again?
Can you hear me?
Okay, perfectly. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, distinguished guests, colleagues. It's a great pleasure to be here today on behalf of ANIE, Confindustria. First of all, I would like to thank the Italian Trade Agency and the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation for organizing this business forum. The number of ANIE member companies, 70 companies registered today, is the evidence of the high attention that our industry pays to the Croatian market. I would like to briefly introduce our federation and the ANIE system. ANIE is one of the most important manufacturer associations within the Confindustria system. representing the interest of electrical engineering and electronic industry, leading sectors, you know, of digitalization and pace setter of technical progress in a strategic market such as energy, transport, industry, and building. About 1,500 companies have opted for ANIE membership. They occupy around 80% of the employees and staff in Italy, including global players, medium and small-sized companies. The sector, with 500,000 employees, in 2019 accounted a total turnover of approximately 84 billion euros. With reference to the focus of the today events, Italian companies of these sectors supply innovative technologies that can play a crucial role in infrastructural development. Looking at the energy industry, for instance, which is in the aggregate represented turnover of 7 billion euros, the Italian excellence is known and appreciated worldwide. Electromechanical technologies place Italy on second position in Europe by size of turnover after Germany. With regard to railway and electrified transports, with a total turnover in 2019 of 4 billion euros, the Italian industry historically represents a sector of technological excellence. Today, sustainability is an imperative when it comes to designing, creating, and maintaining infrastructures. That's why the Green Deal means the future for our Europe. A green and digital transformation, the development of the electricity infrastructure, a holistic approach to mobility, and globally conceived climate protection are the challenges that the Italian electrical engineering and electronic industry is ready to face. The pandemic, we know, has led the European Union into the biggest economic crisis since its foundation. The world, after the coronavirus emergency, needs to become smarter to face globalization challenges, to rebuild competitiveness, and to give strong impulse to economic growth. Companies of our two countries can cooperate even more than in the last years to build together a smart society, ready to face the challenges of the future. Today's meeting represents an important opportunity along this path. Thank you for your attention.
Many thanks, Mrs. Fragasso. With you, we close the Italian introductory presentations. I believe that all these presentations were very interesting for the Croatian counterpart to better understand the Italian industrial organization in the sectors covered by our forum. Now it is my great honor to pass the word to the State Secretary of the Croatian Ministry of the Sea, Transport and Infrastructure, Mr. Alen Gospocic. Please, Mr. Gospocic, the floor is yours.
Hello all. First of all, I would like to greet you, all of you, on behalf of the Ministry of the Sea, Transport and Infrastructure, on behalf of the relevant minister, Mr. Oleg Butkovic, and myself. Also, before the presentation, I would like to emphasize the great satisfaction in a cooperation between two ministries, firstly, and also between two European countries. And I will shortly try to explain the situation about the infrastructure project in Croatia. Okay. Can you see the presentation?
Yet? Not yet. It takes a few. Okay, now it's okay. Full screen and it's perfect.
Okay. Okay. For today, we will present so shortly infrastructure project. Firstly, I would like to say We have two representatives for Croatian companies. From the company of the road companies is Dr. Goran Puj, who will present the road company, and also my colleague from the Croatian rail infrastructure, or HŽI, detailed project about the rail infrastructure. Little background, a recent event related to our bilateral cooperation was almost 2 months ago on a ministry level between Mr. Josip Bilaver, State Secretary, my colleague here in ministry, and also Roberto Travesi, State Secretary in Italy. Topic was related by military corridor, especially railway project, connectivity between two countries via seaport, and also airports challenges in benefit of connectivity. Another meeting was months ago, and on a coordination committee of the ministry was held in the same or a similar topic. Further efforts need to implement TNT network, Mediterranean corridor, 3 railway construction projects on corridor, and 4 projects in phase of study development. Also, today will be present much more about the railway project. Mutual communication in cooperation in the maritime sector in order to promote the development of the port in both countries and their network. Also was a topic related with civilian airport and looking to emphasize the connectivity between two countries about the airport transport. I will shortly say all the things related by Croatian motorways. But actually, I want to stress, Croatia already built more than 90% your highways, actually motorways, and stay some details which we have to connect to be completed the motorways infrastructure. Firstly, at the moment, current investment was in Halasitsa Bridge. It is here in eastern Croatia. It is near the city Osijek. Also, another project was from Beli Manastir and Halasitsa Bridge. It is actually 17 kilometers long, and also bridge on Sava, bridge called Svilaj, and it is completed, but we still waiting the Bosnia and Herzegovina side to open the bridge. And did we finished the corridor 5C, which we run from the Budapest to the Osijek, to the Sarajevo, and to the Port Ploče. It is the corridor 5C. Also, investment being prepared for the continue in the last 5 kilometers the Hungary border. It is Novi Viledolski bypass. It is small one. It is bypass to the city, and collection Sarajevska Street in Zagreb. It is connectivity between motorway and city Zagreb. Also continue in A11 Lekenik-Sisak. It is here in Croatia, and also I would like to stress 3 very important projects, maybe which we planned investment in future time, actually for now to the next 5 to 10 years maybe, but will be completed. Especially I would like to stress Metković Junction, Dubrovnik, Zagreb bypass addition, 3rd line, and Križišće Žuta Lokva. About each project, it is the line downside in the line between Metković city and Dubrovnik city. It is actually more than 90 kilometers long way highways to have to build, and investment was 1.2 billion euro approximately. There is still in project, and we expect to finish this project and invest and build this line. Another project it is bypass from Zagreb bypass, addition third line, and we expect to cost 113 million euro. And third one was maybe for mention, from the city Rieka to the connectivity to A1 highway. It is actually 65-kilometer long street from Rieka, actually Križišće, small place, and Žutva Lokva connectivity by highway A1. Approximately money actually is 684 million euro. It is to think about it. Especially total investment in Croatia in the motorway sector is 2.7 billion euro, and in this moment we thinking about how to realize this 2 billion euro in this three big projects what we expect to do in next few years. As I mentioned before at the beginning, Croatian road, Hrvatske ceste, I guess will be much more information will be given by my colleague Dr. Goran Puž, and he will give you all the perspective of Croatia. Maybe for stress of me was maybe one of the most important project for us at the moment, who is already in building, actually prepared and working. It is the road connectivity to South Dalmatia. It is 204,000 million euro, but my colleague will be much more given back more information about it. About the infrastructure, for somebody who is from abroad, from other country, like our colleague from Italy, Croatia is in the beginning of the process of reconstruction almost all the network in Croatia, and we plan in next 10 years invest a lot of money to rebuild the railways and also other train and other infrastructures in this project. For now, we have 17 projects, different stage of preparation. Also, we planned for the beginning 3 to 3.5 billion euro. It is not completely value. Then it is only for this 17 project. But I will not speak much more about this project because my colleague will be say much more about that. Maybe stress few point of this. It is way from Hrvatski Leskovac Karlovac, Dugo Selo Novska, Rieka Škrljevo Jordani. It is all around the country. I guess my colleague Dragana Drobac will very good presenter about that to give us all the information about this project. Also for Croatia, maybe one of the most important project is lowland railways. It is the path from on corridor AB from from Rieka. It is new line prepared for the build, absolutely new one, to Karlovac, Zagreb, Koprivnica to the Budapest. It is corridor B 5B. So I will only say more information about the airports and project in preparation. We have to plan invest in Zadar Airport, reconstruction and extension on the runway and apron. Total investment have to be approximately 66 million in next 5 years. Also, we have supposed to invest in the airport project because the Osijek Airport aims to support, promote, and participate in economic development and growth in Eastern Croatia. Also, we supposed to do much more investment in island airports, especially in Mali Lošinj Airport. The goal of project to improve capacity and the level of service for passenger arriving in Mali Lošinj. Planned invest 35 million, and also we supposed to invest in Bracer both for similar reasons, and project with around 25 million. It is very shortly about me. I guess we will find yourself in the project and find a way to Croatian procurement to do something together, Croatia and Italy together in new project. This is all for me.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Gospocic, for your presentation. It was really informative and for sure fully appreciated by all companies. Now it is my great pleasure to give the word to Mrs. Sanja Shaban, who is the assistant of the Croatian Minister of Physical Planning, Construction and State Assets. Please, Mrs. Shaban, the floor is yours.
Okay. Okay, do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly. Go ahead.
I can't see presentation. Wait a minute.
I ask to all other speakers to mute their mic. Only Mrs. Drobac. Sorry, yeah, Mrs. Shaban.
Yes, I can't. Okay, 1 minute, please. Okay. Is it okay now?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, thank you very much.
Full screen would be better.
Okay. So, good morning to everyone. At the beginning, on behalf of Minister...
Sorry. Can you please be more close to the mic, a little bit more close?
Okay, do you hear me now?
There is a background noise.
No. Do you hear me? I will try with extra microphone. No, do you hear me now?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay,
yes.
I can go forward. Okay, good morning again to everyone. I would like to thank you for giving us opportunity to give you a very brief insight into the activities that were undertaken after the earthquake in Zagreb and surroundings this March. Okay, on March 22nd, Zagreb was hit by the strongest earthquake since 1880. Earthquake measured 5.5, the Richter scale, with a shallow focal depth of 8 kilometers. The earthquake took place in the context of COVID outbreak, while the country was in total lockdown because of pandemic. The earthquake resulted in 1 fatality, 26 injuries, and displacement of more than 1,000 people. The consequences are seriously damaged buildings in the health, education, culture and cultural heritage, business and housing sector, whilst primarily impacting historic city center, which is also protected cultural heritage. Sector of housing was affected the most. Most damaged dwelling buildings are situated in the historical city center, And family houses are the main construction type in suburban parts and two affected counties. Almost all buildings built between the end of 19th century and the beginning of 20th century were made of bricks without reinforced concrete elements, a big number with wooden floors. Most of them had aged heating systems, obsolete chimneys, and gas boilers, which were either damaged and destroyed. These are numbers of damaged buildings only in the housing sector. Immediately after earthquake and activation of civil protection services, a local civil protection headquarters was formed at the premises of the city of Zagreb. The employers of the Faculty of Civil Engineering were immediately called to help organize the response system and join the crisis. So on the very first day, as many as 150 engineers stepped forward to volunteer in carrying out the preliminary damage assessment of buildings. Their number rose to over 500 in the coming days. In the first phase of inspection, buildings were rated according to the following categories, as you can see on graph. Green means usable, yellow temporary usable and requiring a more detailed inspection, and the red unusable due to external risks or due to damage. Ministry of Physical Planning, Construction and State Assets, in cooperation with the Faculty of Civil Engineering and Faculty of Architecture, made Croatia earthquake rapid damage and needs assessment to make an overview of damage and its financial consequences. Mostly of activities currently undertaken lead to develop the new policy, Act on Post-Earthquake Reconstruction, which has already been adopted. Then the first program of measures to rebuild earthquake damaged buildings, urgent repair of chimneys and renewal of heating devices, ensuring adequate accommodation for those whose houses are heavily damaged, and funding, national and international sources. And at the end, establishment of the fund for the reconstruction. The following guiding principles should form the basis of strategy and planning. To build back better will drive recovery and reconstruction. Adequate housing for an individual or family shall be considered as housing that guarantees privacy, a safe, peaceful, and dignified life. Reconstruction should be a vehicle to build long-term community resilience, strengthen the local economy through reconstruction processes, ensure sustainable and environment-friendly reconstruction processes, ensure that rehabilitation is equitable and inclusive, and identification of causes of heavy damage to buildings will form the basis for development of feasible technical solutions for building better back better. The final reconstruction and recovery total needs of approximately more than 70 billion euros. On this, of this amount, 4.5 billion euros related to short-term needs. Medium-term needs are estimated at 7.1 billion, while long-term needs stands at 5.8 billion euros. The cost of recovery is the greatest in the housing sector and accounts for more than half of overall needs, followed by the culture and cultural heritage sector, the health sector, and education sector. The large amount of damage done to cultural institutions, which are located in the historical core of Zagreb, Zone A. Generally, preservation of cultural heritage buildings must be one of the high priorities in planning as they represent the national identity and describe the history of its development. Fundings. The Croatian government has already responded to the earthquake by financing emergency repairs and preparing a new legal framework to regulate the reconstruction of damaged buildings. And reconstruction works will be funded through the national budget. Ministries are responsible for reconstruction of their property. Then regional and local budget, which means 3 counties: Krapina, Zagreb County, Zagreb County, and the city of Zagreb. EUCF, European Solidarity Fund, the European Parliament approved yet more than 600 million in aid from the European Solidarity Fund. Then it's renovation and recovery mechanism, which with rules which are not defined yet, and the World Bank loan, which is already contracted. On the right side, operation financed by EUCF. Finally, at the end, the question was asked how we see the cooperation related to the topic of reconstruction. First of all, through the knowledge and experience exchange, implementing best practices on reconstruction and renewal, intergovernmental cooperation, urban cooperation, cooperation on academic level, professional organizations. And on another level, through public procurement and calls for tenders, which will be many in the coming period. And for project design, project development, consultancy, and construction work. And thank you very much. That was very, very brief insight on the topic.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Chaban, for your presentation, full of interesting information and advice on Croatian and Italian cooperation. We now go to our next speaker, Mr. Mirko Franovic, Director of the Development and EU Fund Sector of the Croatian Railways. Please, Mr. Franovic, the floor is yours.
Buongiorno, can you hear me? Is everything okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
And can you see the presentation?
Yes, not yet, not yet.
Not yet.
Now, okay, it's launching. Okay, full screen.
Okay.
Okay, working. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, before I start, I would like to thank the trade agency for the invitation and for the possibility to present our railway infrastructure project. My name is Dragana Drobac, and I'm assistant of director in sector for development and EU funds, and I will tell you more about our infrastructure project. As you already know, HAZ Infrastructure is the manager of the railway infrastructure in the Republic of Croatia. Besides managing other activities, are organization and regulation of railway transport, maintenance of railway infrastructure and its protection. Key numbers indicate 2,617 line kilometers, 37% of lines are electrified, 10% of lines are double track, and we take care about security over 1,505 level of crossings. Project goals. Our general goal is modernization of the railway infrastructure in line with the technical specification for interoperability, which will increase speed up to maximum of 160, increase the safety level, shorten the travel time, and also it's very important better connection of ports and the railway, and remove bottlenecks in order to achieve better functionality of the railway system. On the attached map, you can see Mediterranean corridor with our project starting from border with Hungary. Two projects, Križevci-Koprivnica state border and Dugo Selo-Križevci marked in blue, works are in progress. The next one marked in light blue is reconstruction of the existing and construction of the second track between Hrvatska and Karlovac. Currently, the public procurement for the works is ongoing. From Karlovac towards Rieka, we have several projects where the project documentation is ongoing. Okay, I will say much more further. First one is reconstruction of the existing track and construction of the second track on the section Križevci-Koprivnica state border. Currently the largest project. We signed a contract this year with for works this year with the Turkish company Cengiz. Contracted project value is 350 million of euros, and the project includes works on the reconstruction of the existing and construction of the second track in the length of 42.6 kilometers, reconstruction and construction of other railway infrastructure, and modernization of signaling and interlocking and telecommunication devices. The next one is Dugo Selo-Križevci. Works are also in progress. Project value is 196 million of euro. Financing is from OPCC and Transport Operational Program. The project includes works on the reconstruction of the existing and construction of the second track in the length of 36.4 kilometers. As I mentioned before, we have a public procurement for works in progress. The design documentation were made by a consortium of one Italian company, Italfer. The project includes the reconstruction of the existing and construction of the second track along the existing one in the length of 44 kilometers, reconstruction of station stops, and of course, modernization of signaling and interlocking equipment and devices. This month, we signed the contract for study documentation for the section between Karlovac and Ostaria. Project value from grant agreement is 9.4 million of euro, and the project includes preparation of study and design documentation with obtaining the necessary permits for works, which are estimated estimated value is 400 million of euro. Design is also in progress on the section between Ostaria and Škrljevo. Financing is from CEF. Project value is 7 million of euro, and the project includes the preparation of study and design documentation until obtaining a location permit. The works are estimated on 900 million of euro to 1.3 million of euro. Also, we have one project where design is in progress. It's on the railway section Škrljevo-Rieka-Jordani. The project includes the preparation of study and technical documentation with obtaining all necessary permits for works on the reconstruction and construction of the existing railway section in the length of 27.5 kilometers. The design value is 5.4 million euro, and the estimated value of works is 270 million euro. One project in partnership with the Port of Rieka Authority, financed from Connecting Europe Facilities, Zagreb Pier Container Terminal. Project value from grant agreement is 31.6 million, and the project includes the reconstruction of 12 tracks, works on the overhead contact line, and in the port area, construction of 400-meter long tracks and 2 tracks for port trains. As I already mentioned, the project status is that works are ongoing. This year we completed works on the Bradica terminal, also one project in partnership with Port of Rieka Authority. The project included reconstruction of 8 tracks, overhead contact line, construction of parking lot, and extension of the existing tunnel track with a 400-meter long built-in track. We have also projects on corridor RH1 from the border of Slovenia Republic to the border of Serbia. Currently, 2 projects where the design documentation is in progress. First one is on the section between Dugo Selo-Novska, and the other one is between Okučani Vinkovci. Dugo Selo-Novska, we are currently preparing a main design and obtaining building permits. So the project includes the preparation of study and design documentation with obtaining the necessary permits, and the estimated value of the works is 572.5 million euro. Design is in progress also on the section between Okučani Vinkovci. Financing is from Connecting Europe Facility. Project value from grant agreement is 11.2 million euro, and the works are estimated on 520 million euro. We have also projects on other lines. The first one is on the section between Zaprešić-Zabok, Vinkovci-Vukovar. I will tell more. The first one is modernization and electrification of line section Zaprešić-Zabok, includes the modernization of the railway section in the length of 23.9 kilometers, reconstruction of station and stops, electrification, and the project value, contracted project value in total is 81.1 million euro. And as I already said, the works are ongoing. The other section is the upgrade and electrification of lines section Vinkovci-Vukovar. Works are also ongoing. Project includes the reconstruction and upgrade of a single track railway in the length of 18.7 kilometers, reconstruction of station stops, construction of overhead contact line, installation of new signaling and interlocking and telecommunication devices. The next one is preparation of study documentation for the region in central Croatia, Lepoglava Junction. Project value is from grant agreement is 1.5 million, and the project includes the preparation of study documentation for the modernization of the existing railway and the construction of the new one on the route Čakovec-Varaždin-Lepoglava-Zabok. We also have 2 new projects. We signed the grant agreement this year for the improvement of railway infrastructure, establishment of monitoring system for safety, security, and technical controls. Financing is from SEF, and the project value is 17 million euro, and planned start of public procurement is the beginning of the next year. The next one, financing from OPCC, is a project of protection and modernization 95 level crossings. Planned start of public procurement is also beginning of the next year, and the estimated project value is 22.4 million euro. We also have other projects financed from commercial credits, EBRD and EBRD. The contracted value of the all is 166 million euro. And these are section between Savski Marof and the Zagreb West Station, a modernization of 50-level crossings, new track recording car, and renewal of Virovitica Pitomača, Greda Sunja, and Ogulin Moravce. Grazie mille, thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mrs. Dragana Drobac. You spoke in representation of the Croatia Railways in place of Mirko Franovic we were expecting before. Then Mrs. Dragana Drobac, you provided us with very interesting information which all companies for sure will appreciate. So at this point I would ask to Mr. Goran Puj, Head of Management Board Office of the Croatian Road, to talk about your projects. Please, Mr. Puj, take the floor.
Thank you very much. I would like to greet the organizers, the guests, the future partners, and our colleagues. I will try to share my screen right now and to put on my presentation.
Wonderful, thank you. Go ahead.
And now you will tell me if I succeeded in this effort. Okay, so do you see my presentation?
Yes, yes, it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. So I'm greeting you on the behalf of Croatian Roads, which is a state-owned company responsible for construction and reconstruction and maintenance of state roads. As you see, we have a network about 7,300 kilometers long right now. And our company is within the scope of the Ministry of Sea Transport and Infrastructure. Some things about our projects you have heard from State Secretary Mr. Gospočić previously. And I would like to point out things that goes about our financing, our spending of money, and the logic behind our project development. I think that this might interest future partners from Italy. First, something about financing. We are primarily financed from the fuel price fee or fuel levy or fuel tax. I don't know which is the most correct term, but in general, we receive something about 250 million euro per year from this source. And another source are EU funds. We are using EU funds, but these funds are dedicated to certain projects. Our revenues for 2020, this is, let's say, typical year, the year that is, let's say, an example of what will happen in the next 4 or 5 years. We had revenues about 320 million euros. As we said right on the beginning, right now we are in a very large economical crisis, and that might influence our revenues. But we expect that the potential of new infrastructure being built, the potential of these projects to boost the general industry in Croatia will be recognized, so we don't expect that we will lose more than 10% of our revenues. The decrease of traffic is about 12%, so we think that we may make up for these losses somehow through the state budget, but this is things to see. But we don't expect to lose more than 10% in next years. As about investments, so we received 320 million euros in our investments in construction businesses. It are about 200 million euros. Construction is investments for us, construction is investments in new roads and investments in heavy maintenance and reconstruction of existing roads. This is total sum of some 200 million euros, and we are planning to invest, or we are investing every year in continuity, some 60 million euros in regular maintenance of our roads. And about our major construction projects. We have many of them, but some of them are exquisite and are in course right now. First project is Pedestrians Bridge, very spectacular structure with the roads which connect Dubrovnik area with the mainland, with the rest of the mainland, without crossing the state border. Then we have a split bypass, continuation of one very old project. We need to build a bypass around whole area of our southern second most important town in Croatia. This is Split, all the way from Trogir to Omiš. This area has had a big increase in tourism and really needs the one expressway in the behind of this big town and the small towns all around. Then we have the project of the bridge over the Sava River near Gradiška in construction right now, which is actually part of one larger expressway, which is to be constructed during the next decades. And the fourth one is the Rieka port project. We have heard just a few minutes ago about the big plans for expansion of port of Rieka, and we will hear some more. And we are in this project with our connection of new berths of port of Rieka with the motorway network via the expressway. So first, road connection to South Dalmatia. For our friends that may not know, the Croatian mainland is cut in two pieces. One is smaller on the south with Dubrovnik by a small strip of the coast that belongs to Bosnia and Herzegovina. In order to avoid the border crossing, we are constructing the bridge and 32.5 kilometers of road around the Neum corridor, around the Bosnia and Herzegovina. And it is a project divided into several sections. The most important and most attractive section is the bridge. As you see here, it's being constructed right now by the Chinese company. Two other sections are the roads with significant tunnels and viaducts. Total value 420 million euros, and it is funded majority from the EU funds, Fund for Regional Development. The project is contracted with more than 95%. We still have to finish the procurement of some smaller parts of the project, but it is advancing as planned, and on 2021 perhaps we'll cross the bridge. I say perhaps because I'm not sure, because of all of these COVID situations caused some delays. Then we have a split bypass. This is interesting start of a project. You see here the exit of a tunnel right through the gorge or canyon of River Cetina. Here is to be built. Here is a future bridge to be built. This is just a small part. One to start from the one side, from the south side, from Omiš side, and this is the place where this road will start from the split side. Here somewhere we'll make this really big turnabout, and total value of this 21.5 kilometer road is 329 million euro, but we are procuring it from the start and from the end. So we started with the means, with the procurements that we can afford by our budget in these current years from our sources, and we prepared the rest. This is part of the road marked green, majority of the road. We have prepared the projects and still preparing for potential EU funding. So we have on one side, on Omish side, construction works in course. This is here. On another side, we have procurement. This is 42 million euro valid procurements. I think not all of it has been out yet, but by the end of the year it should be. And these green parts are to be procured in the following years. Our plans are made in intermediate terms in about 4-year plans. So next project in course, it's a road that is actually connecting Banja Luka in Bosnia and Herzegovina to the motorway network in Croatia from the border between Bosnia and Herzegovina and Croatia to the Okučani junction on our motorway network. It is 8.4 kilometers long section, which starts with construction of a large expressway bridge across the border river Sava in Gradiška. Here we see the works actually a few days ago, so the works are advancing quite all right. So the bridge is in construction and it has been procured for 20 million euros. Croatia will pay 8 million euros and another side, Bosnia and Herzegovina, goes for 12 million euros. Phase 2 is right now in the procurement. It is valid 47 million euros. This is a lot for 4.1 kilometer of expressway, but here we have also the border crossing. And the phase 3 will be procured in the years to follow. But these 8 kilometers are just a small part of very important European link, linking actually central Hungary, Balaton area, with the port of Split through the Hungary, Croatia, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. We are developing this project, which is marked as a EU project, EU corridor many years ago. We developed it as something for the future years or decades. Then we have this project in Rieka. Here you can see the new construction in the port itself. You can see the motorway in behind, and our expressway to connect them is very expensive because it passes through the densely populated part of the town, mainly through the tunnel. So 3 kilometers costs 64 million euros. It is funded by EU mostly, and it is being procured. In other projects, there are several expressways that we are developing slowly in sections, and as we can manage through our budget restraints. So in Podravina Y, which are being built from the capital, Zagreb, to the important regional centers, Koprivnica and Bjelovar and Virovitica, and further towards Hungary. We are building some sections in length, and we are building the road that is not a full expressway with 2 carriageways and 4 lanes. Right now, we are constructing only 1 carriageway with 2 lanes, but it will be the expressway because it will avoid all the inhabited places, villages and towns on the road, thus enhancing the connection with the regional centers to the motorway network. This is one of our main tasks. Now, right now, we have 2 procurements, as you can see, on one section 7 kilometers, on another branch of this Podravina Y, we procured 70 kilometers. Here are the values also. We have several of these construction projects. not all of them are being prepared for procurement, but we are developing all the projects that are needed for the future connections of the Croatian regions. One of them is, an example, also a road that connects one very isolated part of Croatia. This is the most eastern town. You see, it is completely surrounded by the border of another country of Serbia, and we need to build this expressway in order to connect it to the motorway. This is also one of the projects where we ensured European funding for this first section of 4.2 kilometers, and we are right now procuring 18 million euro, but for the completion of all the road, we need 67 million euro. This is something for the years to come. Also, we are building bypasses every year. As you can see on this photograph, this is one recently this year completed bypass of one village. There are state roads passing right through the middle of the villages as it was the custom before. So you have many troubles in organizing everyday life, especially if you have a heavy traffic, if you have trucks through the village or small town. So we are there is a big pressure on our resources to build many of these bypasses. As you can see, I think we have 27 of projects in various stages of implementation right now. This is for the new construction, and when we speak about reconstruction, this is not just changing the pavement on the road. This is much more complex right now. We are reconstructing the whole roads through some populated areas together with all the infrastructures, and we are obliged to construct the pedestrian paths along our state roads and the bicycle tracks. And what is very important, we are reconstructing the crossroads. So on many towns or villages, we are building the roundabouts as shown here on the picture. So these projects are not less complicated than construction of the new roads, and some of them are quite expensive. So our goal is to somehow predict what will happen in the future times. First reaction on the pandemic was negative effects on all business activities, reductions of investments in capital infrastructures. But as the time passes by, as we live with all these crises, somehow together with the ministry, we are realizing that the construction sector is the generator of the economy, and that we have to maintain our investments, and I hope that will happen. And I hope that all interested parties from Italy will find a way to participate in that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Push. Now we have for sure a more complete framework of infrastructural projects on road and railways. And thanks also for the valuable details you provide us on procurement. Really appreciate it. Now we move to another sector, to the energy sector, and we have with us Mrs. Maja Pokrovatz, Director of the Association of the Renewable Energy Sources of Croatia. Please, Mrs. Pokrovatz.
I hope that you hear me.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I have just a second, please. I have forgot to share your screen, but before I start with my presentation, I really thank the organizers for organizing this in this time where it's not easy to be every day online. I think that this initiative coming from the Italian Embassy and the Institute is very crucial, especially of all what the ambassador said and Ms. Di Carlo, of these really potentials that do exist between two countries. And it's not only definitely in infrastructure and railway sector, it's absolutely in the green energy sector, because Croatia is, as you also mentioned, this geographical or Adriatic that connect. You will see in the next 10 minutes the ambitions that Croatia sets towards the green energy. And we all know that Southeastern Europe is definitely full of variety of green and renewable sources. If we talk about solar, wind, biomass, biogas, geothermal. So I will start with the presentation, and please, if anyone has questions during the presentation afterwards, would be definitely glad to share with you. Let me see. Okay, now it allows. Okay. I hope that it doesn't have any echo.
Yes, we can see. If you can do full screen, would be better.
Yes, this is what I'm trying. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you. I will shortly tell you who we are, just for any interest to have in future contact point. We are a business association. We cover 80% of all the installed renewable capacities in Croatia, which means besides these projects, we also gather the excellence, I dare to say, people and all the industry that is linked to the building of the plants, renewable plants. We also, whatever we do in Croatia, we share and communicate with our partners in Brussels, Wind Europe and Solar Europe. We are the only institutional partners from Croatia in these two European institutions. What we do, besides covering and trying to bridge this bureaucracy, administrative barriers, when we talk about green energy in Croatia, we're also very innovative and trying to establish, and not only trying, but definitely realizing new business model that green energy poses on every country in Europe, including Croatia as well. So whatever is the best practice in Brussels, we communicate in Croatia. We have our daily newsletter web, so we have all these communication means in order to educate a Croatian renewable community, in order to be prepared for all this that COVID brings. And COVID definitely showed that the economy sector is very fragile, and all the measures that EU puts towards the Green Deal or recovery or next generation mechanisms is stressed on self-sustainability. So this is also our goal. The new models are here mentioned briefly. If we talk what Croatia lacks and what we will have in the next 10 years is synergy between industry and green energy, entrepreneurial zones that will become our energy entrepreneurial zones, citizens entrepreneurship, so a lot of things that is definitely a good challenge in front of us. Some of the members, so you can see some of the companies, some of the companies maybe you know, but you can see variety of the expertise. Some 70% of the plants from renewables come from international community, 30% are built by Croatian capacities. You can see what Croatia has done in the more than 10 years. We are known that we have reached the 2020 targets, so Croatia has fulfilled that, owning, of course, because of the resources that we have, but also we had to have some 16% of the domestic energy was done with these members that I have shown, and which is a big thing. 1 billion of kunas less of input on a yearly basis we cover from this because we don't import energy. Legislation is very important to mention because this government is strongly positioning green energy as a strategic point in the next 10 years. Here I have just shown that we have had a feed-in mechanism as other European countries. As of last year, 2019, with the National Energy and Climate Plan, Croatia is one of the 10 first countries in Europe that has put a bigger obligation target, 32%. Croatia has raised it on 36.4, which shows strong ambition that we do want to have and use domestic renewable resources. The strategy on energy also confirms this position. And the big thing is that as of this year, we have bylaws of the law that was finalized in 2016, a big step forward to a new model of investing renewable projects in Croatia, which is called the premium model, which is the known model in Europe because every country is also implementing it. This is some of the shares, national targets I mentioned from the National Energy and Climate Plan, 36.4. So you can see how we have reached the targets from 2020 and what is our ambition for 2030. New incentive model, market premium. Just to tell you that on this Saturday we have finished the first small, we call it small premium model, that we offer for biomass, biofuel and solar plants. We call it a guaranteed model, and there was a big interest, and which shows that Croatia is doing this transition towards from feed-in through premium and then fully on the market price. And we believe in 2025, Croatia will have wind and solar fully on a market price. Here you can see for every renewable source, solar, hydro, biomass, biofuel, the quotas that were published in Croatia in this year, and this will be next year a premium model where we will have investors tendering, bidding for the best production price and realizing the green energy transition in Croatia. Of course, besides these investments, you also have tenders that Croatia gives for agriculture, economy, for tourist people who are renting, who are in tourism, or family houses, or energy efficiency for industry. These are some of the plant capacities that Croatia has put in the National Energy and Climate Plan. This is the plan that every country sends to Brussels, to a European Commission, and then we have to follow and implement it. So there's a big and important ambitious goal, and I'm definitely sure, because of the crisis as well, which again, as I said, stressed the importance of using the domestic renewable sources. Here you can see some of the projects. I'm proud to say that Croatia has, for example, the first geothermal energy project that even in the continental Europe is the biggest in terms of the technology that Croatia uses. So it shows that Croatia can be first in some of the plants, if we know that Croatia is bordering with Hungary and they have the same capacity in geothermal. Croatia was the one to have this first technology being planted, being built in our country. So these are, for example, the potentials that Croatia has put in its strategy. So you can see wind potential up to 9,000 megawatts. Croatia now has in total 1,300 megawatts of all renewable projects. So you see for wind, for solar, what national strategy says. And there is definitely big interest because Croatia, with putting 36.4, the percentage that we want to achieve, plus with the strategy that opens potential of megawatts, we have a very big interest from investors from all over the world. Definitely from all continents, we have daily requests to invest. I will just have a few slides to show you some of the companies that are really pioneers and good examples of Croatia companies in green energy. Solvis, the only one that produces solar panels. You see the modules per units per day, and the owner is one of the innovators, and 90% of this product they export. Đuro Đaković, excellent experience in biomass projects, and as you see, they're the main contract on biomass generation power plant Brinje, which is a well-known power plant in Croatia. Magma company, one of the leading steel construction companies and producers of wind power and hydropower plant equipment. Karlovac turbine, this is something that we would like to boost, a very good potential partner in production and maintenance in geothermal energy. This is the last information, if you know 1 gigawatt, 1000 megawatt project in Sweden that Siemens has contracted Končar transformator. So this is really, it's really huge. Brodosplit also has built, and this only plant solar in Croatia that has wind turbine towers that were built by Brodosplit. This was a project of Acciona. Acciona is the first green utility in the world. They do have projects in Croatia, and they have used Brodosplit to produce wind turbine towers. Besides all this more technically in terms of what Croatia possesses, it is very important to say that the green energy sector in Croatia was run by a private sector. Last year, the first state company, HEP, our Croatian power utility, has started the first green project. So the know-how is very much in the niche of a private sector. It's very well known. So the expertise that people have in the last almost 15 years of building projects in green energy, they're working from Japan to Azerbaijan, and especially in the region. This sector is very much appreciated on the European and international level. So it's not only the companies, it's the people who are linked to these projects. Why invest in Croatia? I think these of the figures of quotas, ambition goals, Croatia shows definitely a very good strategic move towards sustainability. So there's a lot of potentials between not only these two countries, but also I think Italy can play not with Croatia, but also regional role as well. I have also here stressed the Turboden company from Italy that worked on this geothermal plant that I have already mentioned. Partnership, why with local businesses, is something that you mentioned at the beginning. So it's reduces cost because of the neighboring that we have as the two countries. So lower transport costs, faster and more efficient technical support, geographical position. We have well-defined the legal framework for having green energy projects, and we are continuing with reforms. So this is it. This is my email. I really welcome everybody who wants to know more. We also have a variety of information on a daily basis. As I said, we cover on a daily basis what is happening in green energy sector, not only in Croatia, but in Europe and on a global level. So to be always prepared for some new challenges. So I hope it was a good motivation to have a look into green energy in Croatia, and really open to everyone who wants to know further.
Thank you, Mrs. Pokrovatz. Really interesting and clear presentation. I think there are really many opportunities for collaboration between Croatia and Italy. Among the public, we have many Italian companies of the energy sector. And if you are interested, we can put you in direct contact. And or you can consult the catalog we sent a few days ago. Here it is. I want to show, because here you can find all Italian companies participating in this forum. And you can find all information there. Next, we have Mr. Vojko Kocian, Head of Development and Project Department at the Port of the Rieka Authority, il porto di Fiume per I nostri amici italiani. Please, Mr. Kocian, the floor is yours.
Good morning once again to all participants, and thank you very much for the opportunity to share with you our enthusiasm on investment cycle, which is actually ongoing in the port of Rieka. I will try now to put my presentation on the screen. Just a second. I have to start from the beginning. Hope you can see my presentation. Is it okay? Is it?
Yes, it's fully working.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the Port of Rieka Authority started with the huge project on modernization and development of the Port of Rieka more than one decade ago. And it was the idea to completely modernize all of the terminals spread around the Corner Bay. Actually, there are five locations, 5 basins in the Corner Bay on which the Port of Rieka operate. For the moment, recently, is the most important project is development of the Zagreb Deepsea container terminal, which present the totally 7 parts of the related projects in a total value of 376 million euros. There is 3 phases of the construction of the terminal. Then it is in construction of the intermodal yard and the connecting road, the C43, as well as intermodal, as well as the Port West Internal Road, which will connect the general cargo terminal with the road DC43. Actually, at the moment, it is completed the construction of the first phase of the Zagreb Deepsea container terminal. It was financed by the World Bank loan. Total value was of the construction was 112 million euros, which is a part of the totally 186 million euros received from the World Bank loan. The pier itself, the first phase, is long 400 meters with a sea depth of 20 meters. Complete Zagreb Deepsea container terminal is contain 4 different phases of the construction. The first phase, as I already told, is completed. And the next phase, phase 1A, is left to the concessionaire to be completed by 2023. It is intention to construct the terminal facilities like a stacking yard and the gate, as well as the equipment of the terminal. Intermodal yard is also part of the Zagreb Deepsea container terminal. It will be completed till the 2021. Construction works are in progress. And the second phase, next 280 meters of the pier, is the concessionaire's obligation during the period of concession. To be fully operational, Zagreb Deepsea container terminal needs good connections. The one is a railway connection, of course, and intermodal yard as a part of the reconstruction of the cargo section of the railway station Rieka is in progress. It is a plan to be completed till 2021, and it is co-financed by the European Funds Connecting Europe facility. Oh, sorry. The huge investments, it's also connecting road DC43, which will connect the Zagreb Deepsea container terminal with the Rieka bypass road and further to the national highway network. Also, the part of the Zagreb Deepsea container terminal is off-dock terminal to serve as intermodal facility. It will be constructed in 3 phases. Will cover area of 30 hectares and will be used mostly for the logistics operation served for the container terminal. The Port of Rieka Authority received co-financing from the Connecting Europe facility for the 7 projects in total value of 133 million euros approximately. There is most of them, they are dedicated to the improvement of the railway operation, like reconstruction of the railway station at the Adriatic Gate container terminal. It is value of the project 35.5 million euros, co-financed 85% by the CEF. Then there is also reconstruction of the railway station at the Zagreb Pier, which is a Rieka railway station. Reconstruction of the pier in the Russia Basin on the Eastern Peninsula. Then it will be reconstructed the complete railway infrastructure in the Rieka Basin, which is the oldest part of the port of Rieka. It is really necessary to make these huge investments. Further is reconstruction in the Bakar Bay, in the Bakar Basin. There is a bulk cargo terminal, which first of all need reconstruction because of environmental protection, but also the railway infrastructure is needs to be increased in the better shape. Which is missing in the port of Rieka is port community system, and now we have a chance to finally complete this project to allow interchanging of the information within the port of Rieka on the very modern and fast way. Finally, there is a project which will deepen the sea in the front of the pier at the Adriatic Gate container terminal. There is a need for this dredging to level the sea depth in front of the pier for the 400 meters requested by the ships which are recently calling the port of Rieka or Adriatic Gate container terminal. As I already mentioned, all of this project total value is 133 million euros. Most of them are co-financed with 85% by Connecting Europe facility. One by one, the reconstruction of the railway station at the Adriatic Gate container terminal is already completed. A few days ago, we received the operational permit for them, so it is in operation. And now the terminal, the railway infrastructure allows increase of the share of railway transportation to more than 60% of the total throughput of the container terminal. And this is very important to improve the capacity of the terminal to reach the highest possible capacity in the future. You can see on these photos what was the issue, what improvement actually made this reconstruction of the railway station at the Halasitsa, at the Adriatic Gate container terminal. Till reconstruction, we had to use the railway line which is going through the city, and there were obstacles on the traffic, city traffic, on the daily basis. Now this is not necessary. The Adriatic Gate has its own railway station, allowing the moving of the trains directly from the terminal to the railway line to Zagreb. The next one is a railway station at the Zagreb Deepsea container terminal. This is a part of the Rieka cargo railway station. It will be finished till the end of next year. The value is approximately 31.5 million euros. All of these two projects are realizing together with the Haji Infrastructure as a partner in the project. At the moment, it is completed 50%, and the works are progressing well. The next one is the reconstruction of the general cargo pier in Russia Basin, in terminal on Eastern Peninsula. It was last time, if we can say, that this reconstruction should be done because the pier was in very bad condition. And this reconstruction will allow also the improvement of the port operation. It will allow installation of the new cranes and the new cranes for the general cargo. And at the same time, this will increase the capacity of the terminal and also will affect the operation in the Russia Basin, which is terminal. There are terminals for the livestock and the wooden products. The project, which is dedicated for the reconstruction of the infrastructure of the Rieka Basin, as I already said, this is the oldest part of the port of Rieka, constructed in 19th century. Then it is last time to start with this reconstruction to allow more efficient operation of the railway, of the trains, moving of the trains within the port, but also to improve the operation on the ship directed to the loading and unloading of the ships. The project just started. It is completed 10% for the moment, but it is planned to be finished in early beginning of 2023. The next project is similar, but much smaller in the Bakar Bay, on the bulk cargo terminal in Bakar. There will be changed the railway lines, and also it will be improved the environmental protection, using the separators for the drainage water to not be just left to the sea directly. It will be cleaned before leaving to the sea. Port community system is dedicated to connect all port Port of Rieka members, which company and which are operating in the port community. It is completed for the moment 70%. It is idea to put in operation completely till the end of next year, and it will improve the operation all of the companies, port operators, stevedoring companies, then the train operator, and all other members which are working the everyday works in the port of Rieka. The project, the dredging of the seabed in the Adriatic container terminal, you can see it is necessary to be done to allow berthing of the ships long approximately 400 meters in a full length to the pier. So it will improve the operation of the terminal and will allow that the ships can be unloaded or loaded in the full length. It will be completed till the end of next year, and it is worth to mention that the works are executed by the Italian company Nova Coedmar. Just to mention that the projects which I have been talking about are the ongoing projects, but there are planned to realize totally 28 projects in the next 5 years. This is what we have planned to do in the recently and the near future. And if you will need any information regarding the projects, ongoing projects or planned in the future, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kozian, for sharing your projects with us. We are a little bit late, but all presentations are so interesting. It's not easy to contain so much information in a short time. Thanks for your patience and attention. Now it's time to introduce Mr. Bojan Linardic, advisor to the head of office for strategic planning and development of the city of Zagreb. He is also a member of presidency of the Association of Civil Engineers of Zagreb. Please, Mr. Linardic, take the floor. Please switch your mic on, Mr. Linardic. We don't hear you. Please check the mic.
Now it's okay.
Okay, working. Thank you.
Thank you. Just a moment to share a screen.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Just full screen.
Full screen, yes. And please.
Okay.
Yes, perfect.
Hello to everyone. I would like to show you a few things about city of Zagreb. Here is a map that shows the capital city, the biggest city in the Republic of Croatia, and also the center of many political, administrative, and other facilities in the Republic of Croatia. City of Zagreb is a county, which means it's not same as all other big cities in Croatia, and Zagreb also has its region. We call it urban agglomeration of Zagreb. Topologically, Zagreb is situated between Sava River, Sava Valley, and the Medvednica mountain on the north. So we see on this picture that is urban structure is divided with two big infrastructure corridors. First infrastructure corridor is a railroad, which separate north from south of town. And the other infrastructure corridor, we can say it's river of Sava, or inundation belt of Sava. Because of that, we need many attention, or challenge is how to connect the urban structure between north and south. As we see on master plan of Zagreb, that on Sava River is planned or is almost already existing many bridges. We have about 11 existing bridges on Sava, but more new 10 new bridges are planned and should be built over the Sava River to connect north and south traffic and other infrastructure connections. In this graphic, we can see these orange existing bridges, but we see also yellow new bridges or planned bridges to make possible that urban structure will be compact and functional. In our office, we made lots of studies to think what is possible dynamic or what is priorities to make some of these infrastructural projects. So we analyze these opportunities and these challenges in many ways. Here we see one special analysis from 2018. I will tell a few words about existing bridges which are made in past 100 years about. We have these 11 bridges and they're all different and special, of course, for itself. Some or most of them are for road traffic and pedestrian, but some of them are also for railroad, and some of them is for tram also, and some also are only for pedestrian, for example. So these bridges needs also reconstruction, needs also modernization, and all similar things to do. But we also need bridges for some huge city projects, because some of city projects are situated on the south of the city, like Zagreb Fair, like unfinished hospital in Blato on the north-south, and so on. So we need a connection between new parts of town and some parts over the river. Now I would like to show some of 10 planned bridges. I will show you 3 examples which are being designed through public competitions before about 10 years. This is a graphic where we can see which is distance between some existing and some planned bridges, and we see that distance in the center is smaller, and of course distances outside of center on the periphery is bigger, of course, and larger, and it's logical to understand. 2 bridges which design was made through the public competition was Pier Bridge on the west of town. It was 2007, and bridge Bundeck, which is almost in the center of urban structure, and it was was made 1 year later than for Pier Bridge. It it is projects that is planned firstly in master plan, but in other studies, traffic and other plans. These bridges are also planned as priority to build. Here we can see Yarun Bridge, and on the right we see competition solutions. So the first solution is was a winner, of course, and many other solutions was suggested on this competition. And it was interesting to see what is all the possible design, because it was also architectural, traffic and civil engineering competition. This is all solutions for Yarun Bridge on the west, or on the west of the town. The importance of this location is to connect all western part of town with entrance from the south. So today, when we pass the south entrance, we should go almost in center of New Zagreb, almost in center of south part of town, and with this bridge on the west, we could go in west part of town easily and without big traffic. It's another bridge called Bundeck Bridge. Is on the center, but a little bit eastern than center X, and it is designed for road traffic, but also for pedestrian, because Park Bundeck here is central park, we can see, for Zagreb, and it's very interesting to connect them to the other parts of town. It was designed as some kind of mesh, and it is very transparently design. We see here also tram traffic and also road on left and right side.
I'm sorry, Mr. Vinardic, I apologize
Yes.
for interrupting, but I kindly ask you to conclude because we are a little bit late.
Yes, this can be a conclusion that very big number of bridges Zagreb needs to connect his urban structure, and we are looking for partners in that projects, of course.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vinardic, for your contribution. Then we will have a lot of new bridges in Croatia, in Zagreb.
Of course.
Now,
thank you for attention.
Thank you very much, really interesting. Now I have the pleasure of introducing three distinguished panelists from the three major international financial organizations operating in Croatia that finance many infrastructure projects. the European Investment Bank, the World Bank, and the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Then let's start with Mr. Anton Kovacev, head of Zagreb office of the European Investment Bank. Please, Mr. Kovacev, the floor is yours. Is Mr. Kovacev with us?
Oh, thank you,
Okay,
Ms. Di Carlo. Dear ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. So first of all, I'll try to present my presentation. So, just a minute, please. It doesn't work. Is it okay now?
Yes, yes.
Not yet, huh?
No, not yet, but it seems to be working. I don't know.
I couldn't find my presentation. Just a moment. I'll try. Morning. Wait a minute.
Maybe you prefer to speak later, and
just a moment.
Mr. Kovacev, can you hear me? If you prefer, yes. I can go on with Mrs. Capanelli and you can speak later. Or maybe now it's okay. Let's try. Something is happening.
Okay, maybe I'll try to prepare. Okay, Ms. Capanelli could start.
Okay, we can go. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, then I ask to. I would like to give the floor to Mrs. Elisabetta Capanelli, the country manager for Croatia and Slovenia of the World Bank. Her name sounds Italian. Please, Mrs. Capanelli, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Carla, Sandra. It's a pleasure, and thank you to the ambassador and everybody else. I'm going to also try to share the screen. I might have the same problem, right? So let's see a second.
Okay, maybe our reporter can help you. Julia to
okay, let me actually do the following. Since the time is really short, and if it is okay, I will just speak freely, and you will share the presentation to our colleagues. I'm keen for the others to have it, because many of the things that have been said before, really by many of the friends actually that have spoken, particularly from the client side, I think are, maybe I can see Voiko there and others from the various ministries, really, speak of our work. So first of all, let me say the following. It might look weird that a development institution like the World Bank, it's present in Croatia. And even now that Croatia has entered and the latest member of the European Union, and with all the importance as you presented at the beginning, entering also the Euro area, it's normal to have colleagues that you will hear briefly, now from, of course, the EBRD and the Bay, but maybe the World Bank sounds strange, right? But we believe very much actually that there is still a role for the World Bank. In fact, we have launched recently a new strategy that will accompany us for the next 4 to 5 years. And the role of the World Bank really here is to be complementary, to focus, yes, on investment and on supporting the development and the growth of the various ministries and so on that we heard earlier on, provide opportunities for investment, but to be especially complementary. What we do try to achieve is to help the companies reform themselves, the institutions to develop, the reforms to be introduced, and at the same time to allow the environment to attract the private sector and the EU funds. So our role is both to invest in the sectors, but as well as to help, make that development jump that is required, and the reason for which we work in the sector. Now, on the transport, which is the area that I've been asked to focus on, the portfolio of the World Bank, which we have provided almost 5 billion euro in investment since in the last 26 years, studies, technical assistance, so on. Our portfolio in the transport sector is about 1/4, 25% of our investment have been in the transport sector, without even mentioning all the other elements of, as I mentioned, technical assistance reforms and studies that have helped attract funds, for example, that we heard earlier on from, for example, Rieka, which is one of our, we are very attached to the port of Rieka, not because I'm Italian, and but for years, 17 years, our longest investment, not in terms of size, because we're very proud that the port of Rieka have been able to attract, private sector and public sector funds, EU funds, but really in terms of continuity, vision, and supporting the vision of the city and the port authority, and Luca Port. So we are, in terms of what we are currently doing, is related again to the transport sector. We have 2 ongoing operations, one in the railway sector, which is for 163 million euro, and involve all the, the 3 railway companies, Infrastrutture, passenger, and cargo, as well as, which is already ongoing, and it has very substantive investment. As I mentioned, you will be able to see the details of this in the presentation that Sandra will share and make available to all of you. And we have another ongoing operation in the road sector, which is, might look small, relatively small, is about 22 million euro technical assistance that, but when we designed it, really this also was accompanied by a guarantee operation, which was approved in 2017 and helped restructure 5 billion euro of investment that were coming due and were taken by the road company, not at a preferential rate. So our presence and the fact that we provided technical assistance to accompany this allowed the refinancing of the road company. I'm saying this, yes, definitely, as you mentioned, I am Italian, right? So I know that the role of neighbors, countries, other European countries like Italy, goes well beyond looking at the just opportunities for investment. I think that there is plenty of learning and experiences that Italy can bring to Croatia through the reform of state-owned enterprises, state-owned companies, like in the railway sector and the road sectors, and how to attract private sector, how to really develop the sector well beyond just only investment part, which of course is also important. So we have also had 2 other large, as I said, intervention in the port of Rieka and Croatia before, and which have, all of this is now completed, as well as in general, we have 11 projects, and we work, for example, in some areas for the lagging region of Croatia, which was mentioned earlier on, in the area of what is called Slavonia, so Slavonia, Baranja, and Srijem. And you heard earlier on about investment in the Osijek airport. We will not be working on the airport itself, but we definitely are there to support the development of the region and welcome any possibility of further investment through EU funds and others. Now, let me just say 2 words about some of the challenges, and I'm saying this because I also want to jump also to opportunities, and you will see that in the presentation. Now, we heard of great vision from all the companies, right, and the ministry, of course. And all of this is embedded in, I would say, in 2 important documents. One, which is already out, which is the National Development Strategy for Croatia, the Vision 2030, which has an important, of course, focus on transport. And then, of course, within the transport sector, there is a recognition also of specific transport sector challenges. And I would like to say that there is a lot still to do related to transformation of the companies on what you would call the political economic context. There is a very serious problem of old infrastructure. There is imbalances on the type of investment that have been made with a heavy focus on roads rather than railways, which should be given priorities now. There is a problem of if you like, the efficiency of the state-owned enterprises. Subsidies, like in many other parts of Europe in the past, have been predominant. And, you need to modernize the companies while at the same time introducing efficient technologies, both in road and railways. And of course, there is the challenge that we all face of greening and institutional human capital development and so on. But the greening element, I think, is something that will be particularly challenging, and including, for example, introducing new fleet for, let me say, just Jadrolinea or others, right? And of course, the greening overall of the sector with an important focus that will have to be given to railways. I also don't want to forget to mention one element related to safety. We haven't heard that from some of the colleagues that have spoken earlier on, but there is a major challenge related to still road safety and generally safety also in the railway sector. And a way to deal with that, indeed, it has to do with the modernization of the sector, heavy investment that should be done in the IT area and so on. So opportunities are there. And I'm just going to jump to the last point, which is what opportunities the National Resilience and Recovery Plan, so the next generation EU funds, will really now represent for Croatia. As for Italy, I was just recently there, so, unfortunately, the entire discussion is about COVID and the next generation EU funds only. There should be plenty more to discuss about, but here, also in Croatia, for its own proportion, that we have enormous opportunity given by the EU funds on the National Resilience and Recovery Plan first, and the next cycle of structural funds, and most of which can and should be dedicated to the transfer sector, particularly, of course, primarily early on to railways, and then, of course, to the greening of the sector. And here I want to again stress the issue that all those type of investment cannot happen in the absence of appropriate reforms in the sector and with focus and investment on building capacity and knowledge. And that is where the countries should, including partners like potentially Italy or other European countries, should focus on what their value added, in my opinion, would be in addition to investment. I stop here because I know we are run out of time, and thank you very much again for giving me the opportunity to be part of this forum. Thank you.
Many thanks, Mrs. Capannelli, definitely interesting. I want to assure all the participants that we will share the presentations. Now, if Mr. Kovacev has the presentation ready, I would ask him to proceed and take the word. Mr. Kovacev, the head of Zagreb office of the European Investment Bank. Can you hear me, Mr. Kovacev? Switch your mic on. We can't hear you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Mrs. De Carlo. I'll try to share my presentation with you. So just a moment.
Thank you.
It will be impossible. I'll
the tool.
Yeah, I try to see.
Oh, it seems
nothing. Yeah, nothing happened.
Now you have to launch your presentation because you share only the screen, but not the presentation. You did well, but you don't share the presentation, only the screen. We see what you see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe now?
Maybe now. Just a moment. No. Nothing, yeah? Okay.
Okay, double click there. Okay, wonderful. Full screen if you can do, or let's go.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, I would like to use the opportunity to thank the organizers and particularly His Excellency Italian Ambassador Pier Francesco Sacco for the invitation for this conference. European Investment Bank is the lending arm of the European Union, established more than 60 years ago. We are the EU bank, and since Croatia has joined the EU, we are therefore also the Croatian bank. EIB stands ready to support all good investments in Croatia, whether they are coming for Croatian entrepreneurs or investors from other EU member states or other investors. EIF is a part of the EIB group, which is a specialist provider of risk finance to small and medium-sized enterprises. As you may see, our priorities for financing are the sectors of innovation, climate action, infrastructure, and small and medium-sized enterprises. The total EIB group financing signed last year was over 72 billion euros. So EIB signed over than 63 billion, and EIF signed last year over than 10 billion euros. EIB is also a climate bank of the EU. In line with its new energy lending policy, the strategy of EIB in the next financial period is to significantly increase the investing in the climate action projects. Future financing will accelerate clean energy, innovation, energy efficiency, and renewables. Just note, over the past year, EIB has invested almost 20 billion euros in climate action projects. In Croatia, last year, EIB has signed 466 million euros worth of projects, and our total signatures in the last 10 years in Croatia have a sizable volume of more than 5 billion euros. We are supporting infrastructure, SMEs, innovation, and climate action, all in order to reduce disparities in regional development, strengthen competitiveness, and improve living standards and quality of life. On top of that, EIB provides advisory and technical assistance. We have strong cooperation with public authorities, Croatian banking sector, and international financial institutions in Croatia present here also. In order to leverage the support, the EIB sources can be combined with the EU funding. Following are the large-scale projects in infrastructure that EIB has financed in Croatia. First of all, Dubrovnik Airport, Rimac Automobili, Zagreb International Airport, HELP, Elto Zagreb, Rieka Hospital as a social infrastructure project, Jadran Galenski Laboratory as an example of the support to the economy, Dugo Selo Križevci Railroad, a large number of municipal water supply and sewerage projects, and the last but not least, our participation in financing of Pedestrians Bridge, Croatian strategic infrastructure project. So because we are late, I try to be as brief as possible with the presentation within the provided time. But should anyone have any inquiries, I have added the contact details. I'm inviting all the investors to contact the Zagreb office directly and also to visit our web pages for more details. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Kovacev. Thank you very much. Last but not least, we have Mrs. Victoria Zinkuk, Director for Croatia of the EBRD, European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Please, Mrs. Zinkuk, take the floor.
Buongiorno. Thank you. Very happy to meet you all. I do realize that we are running somewhat late, and following Elizabetta's excellent presentation, it will be difficult for me to tell you more about Croatia and the challenges that their country in itself is facing. So, like the other participants, I am struggling a little bit with their presentation, but I will keep talking. So those of you who don't know EBRD, just to tell you that we are a public sector institution. We are owned by approximately 69 shareholders, of which EU is one of the shareholders, and Italy is also one of our shareholders. We invest both in public sector as well as in private sector, and private sector is really something that we do as one of those institutions that puts private sector at the core of our activities. In terms of our business, I will not go through the slides. I assume the organizers will be sharing this with you, and as I speak, I will just allow enough time for you to read from the screen. But as you can see, we have invested quite a lot of funding in the country, and our two core products are banking, so lending as well as equity investments, even though lending is probably our main product, as well as advisory. On advisory, we do have similar activities such as World Bank, but not at the same scale. And in terms of their typology of advisory projects that we do, these projects are also focused on corporate governance, on the structural reforms for SOEs. We have worked together with World Bank on a number of advisory projects for the government, and the purpose of these are very much, as Elisabetta has put it, to enable the reforms and for us, ultimately, to enable investments. This is a very short sort of screenshot of some of our clients in the last couple of years here in Croatia. When we talk about the projects that we do, so you as investors or you as companies that hopefully will take advantage of the opportunities that come up in Croatia. And to be honest, when we talk about opportunities, Croatia is probably the land of opportunities, but as some of the speakers have said, we're yet to tap into those opportunities. So what we as EBRD can offer to you is easier financing, and you will see on my presentation some of the projects that we have financed so far where Italian clients were our counterparties and who are our borrowers. Or obviously, when we finance projects such as the one I have just shown to you as Alto, you can be their contractor and ultimately become our indirect partner in the work that we do. So I will go through the projects that we have done as a bank. So some of those projects include the business that has been done with Italian companies in Croatia, such as Florian Group. But some other projects will show you what are their, what is the engagement that we have with Italian businesses outside of Croatia. Hence, for us, it's important that at the end of this presentation and this great event that has been organized today, despite all of this difficult environment that we're operating in, that you do see that some of your Italian counterparties, so some of the Italian companies have ventured out in the region where we are right now, so in Croatia as well as beyond Croatia. And what EBRD can do for you is support your operations as relevant. So I'm being very mindful about the time. Hence, to conclude, these are the clients and partners that we have here in Croatia. You will see that many of them are household names for those of you who know Croatia. For those of you who are just discovering Croatia, I'm pretty sure that you have now seen that this land of opportunities is awaiting for all of you. And I do hope that we will see some of you investing in this country, because this country definitely needs investment. And we will be here together with my colleagues from EIB, from World Bank, as well as from commercial banks to support you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure speaking to you all today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Zinko, for your interesting presentation and for your kind words. We are coming to an end, and we have the last two speakers. The first one is Mr. Carlo Evangelisti, Senior Sales Manager of the Italian company Mermek. He will share with us their success story in Croatia, the land of opportunities, as Mrs. Zinko said. Please, Mr. Evangelisti, take the floor.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity. I would like to introduce very briefly my company and the group we belong. So let me share the presentation. Sorry, just a second. Okay, I think you can see properly. So Mermek is the company which is active in the railway business within the Angel Group. Angel Group is a private Italian group composed by several companies and active in different areas. Here I will go very briefly on some slide. It is a very technological group, active in several technologies, and so research is very important and present worldwide.
Sorry, Mr. We don't see the presentation. Did you try to share with us or no? We don't see presentation, we only see you speaking.
Okay, I apologize. I see, because I see from, let's say,
because you share the screen share.
I'll try again, but doing this way maybe. So let me go again to do you see?
Not yet. Oh, maybe now it's okay. Now it's okay. Full screen, and go on.
Yes, yes. I apologize. So
okay.
again, so Angel Group is the group to which belongs several companies. Mermek is the one active in the railway. It's a very technological group. Research obviously is a key part of our investments, and with the presence worldwide.
We are active in various areas, space industry with the company CTIL. Our target is to produce small satellites. Railway business, which there are several companies, Mermek, Angerstar, E-Wings, and we produce measuring systems. Actually, we already have a project now active with the Croatian Railways, financed by EBRD, for a new measuring vehicle, which we hope will help in this modernization process of HZ in Croatia. We are also active in the signal system, so many of the projects which were described today could be of interest for us in the near future. We are also active in the Internet of Things with the several type of activities like bikes sharing or payment methods for vending machines. As well, we are the official supplier of telemetry in the Formula One racing cars. We are active also in the aviation with the company Black Shape. We produce a small fiber carbon, very innovative airplanes, which can be used for training or for patrolling of the territory. We are active also, again, with the company CITA and the Mermek itself in surveys to monitor, for instance, to the leader scanner of for mapping, for 3D, for planning activities and so on, but also in the railway field. Asset digitalization is now a priority in Europe, and we are targeting, we have several solutions in this area. We are also active with our measuring systems in the steel industry. We can support the steel industry in monitoring the production of the components. We are active in the cybersecurity with the company Brightside, and actually we have also a project in Croatia with the Unicredit to guarantee the security from cyber pirates. So I have been trying to be very brief to present the entire group, and I think our contacts are available with the Italian Trade Office. Anybody which should be interested can contact us, and we look forward to start again to visit the Croatia in person and to have a strong business relationship.
Okay, grazie. Many thanks, Mr. Evangelisti, for your interesting story that can help all our companies. And now we turn to our last speaker, Mrs. Andrea Perkov, Secretary General of the Italian-Croatian Chamber of Commerce. Please, Mrs. Perkov.
Thank you, Sandra. I know we are all tired, we are all hungry, so I will be really, I'm hungry very much. So I will try to, maybe even without presentation, to present our chamber. You have my presentation, you will share it with all the participants here. Very grateful, very thankful for the organization of this interesting forum. We saw so many interesting from the Croatian institutions, the national strategy, the reforms, and the projects, especially in the infrastructure. And I have to say, Mermek's presentation even was so brief. I would love to continue this conversation with Mr. Evangelisti, because so many interesting projects, and I know the really, really good Brightside company, we are already in the contact. So the Italian-Croatian Chamber of Commerce is a member of the Italian Chambers of Commerce abroad, also Camere Estero, and we are present in 58 countries all around the world. And in Croatia, we actually operate more than 15 years, but as a chamber last 6. Our main goal is to help the Italian companies already present in Croatia, to get them all our support. And as I saw in so many different presentations today, many of them are already our members, and I would like to use this opportunity to invite you to contact us and to see how and what kind of services we are providing to our members, and not only members, even the companies which are not members and they have interest for Croatia. Croatia is really interesting country near Italy. As Sandra said in the beginning, almost everybody is speaking English. This is really important, and I would love to address here the staff of the chamber, even if it is small by the number, but we all speak at least 3 languages, including Italian and Croatian. We know really good the Croatian reality, Croatian market, and develop such a good relationship with the local and national authorities, and especially with the system, Italy, Sistema Italia, with Sandra, with Italian Trade Agency, and of course our embassy. And so I really love to continue all our collaboration with not only companies, but also institutions. We saw Hrvatske ceste, Hrvatske željeznice, all institution and governmental companies in the infrastructure sector, which are really interesting because we see, especially in this pandemic crisis, a lot of interesting of companies in different sectors, such as infrastructure and renewable energy as most. So you will have my contacts through the Italian Trade Agency. Please do not hesitate to ask us anything. If we don't know altogether, we will find the solution. Thank you and buon appetito a tutti.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Mrs. Perkov. This concludes today's forum on infrastructure. Unfortunately, we don't have time for a Q&A session. We will answer by email all questions we received through the chat. Now I would like to thank the State Secretary Alen Gospocic, the Assistant Minister Sania Shaban, even if they could not stay with us until now, His Excellency, the Ambassador Pier Francesco Sacco, the Italian Industrial Association, and all other distinguished speakers for being with us and sharing their experience and knowledge on these important topics. Many thanks also to all participants for taking the time to join us today. And a special thank you to all Italian companies. They have a lot to offer to Croatia and are able to bring added value in terms of technology, capacity, know-how, and innovation in all sectors. And as you said before, Croatia is a land of opportunities. For any follow-up, please feel free to contact us, our office, via email at zagreb.ice.it. We are at your disposal and we answer all your questions and put in contact with everyone. Thank you again for your attention and I wish you all happy holidays. Hvala I doviđenja. Arrivederci e buone feste. I don't know if any of you want to add something, but otherwise I say you hi. Arrivederci a tutti.